I don't care. I've bought the uniform. I don't care if they're changing it. I'm going to... Hey everybody, and welcome to Trek Culture. I'm Sean Ferrick. I'm here today to talk to you about a couple of bits of news that have come out about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which is the most talked about but least seen upcoming series of Star Trek. Now, we've seen the teaser trailer for Star Trek Picard, we've seen the trailer for Star Trek Discovery Season 4, but as yet we have not seen any footage from Strange New Worlds. Now, we've known for a while that it's going to go back to basics, but this week, Akiva Goldsman, who is both writer and director on the show, was able to give a few extra details that expanded on some stuff that we hadn't already known. Now, the first little bit of news, which again is fairly well known at this stage, but it's in production currently. Now, you might remember that during the week there was a news report that broke that said a guest star had tested positive for coronavirus, which had led to people isolating. Now, we can actually expand on that a little bit, is that this guest actor had flown in from Vancouver and had actually only got as far as his fitting, so it didn't actually interact with the rest of the cast, which means that it didn't impact production at all, thank God. So although some scenes had to be put on hold, it wasn't actually to do with this particular case. Goldsman says that they're nearly finished work on the pilot, which is of course great news for fans everywhere. It does mean that we're probably not likely to get this show, certainly not until maybe Q4 of 2021. I'd say we're looking at 2022, to be honest. Now, they did have to pause production for a little while due to just quarantine in general in Toronto. But actually Goldsman managed to drop this really nice little quote where basically he described the people working on this show. It's the same people who rock up to conventions. Like, asking them to come back and do some more work is like asking me, Marcus, or Adam if we want to talk about Star Trek. Yeah, we do. Now, the big difference about Strange New Worlds that I think a lot of us are looking forward to is that from the off they've said they're going back to the episodic format of the original series. Now, actually, Goldsman he expanded on this a little bit, because it's not just a case of start, middle, end, like every episode. It's actually going to allow them to play with form a little bit more. If you think back, Robert Bloch, who wrote Psycho, also wrote the episode Wolf in the Fold. They were able to do a horror episode. Harlan Ellison wrote hard sci-fi with City on the Edge of Forever. And we also got comedy with things like Shore Leave and The Trouble with Tribbles. Having this room to play, it means it can avoid the show getting stale. And the reason I say that is because the interviewer asked Goldsman I feel a fair question. How much is too much? I mean, we are living in a golden age where we've so much Trek content to digest. So at what point do we maybe draw the line? Goldsman says, well, he's aware of it, but there's no real point. Because the age of streaming, this is a new age for Star Trek. The franchise hasn't existed in this format before, so really it's somewhat boundless. He did say that they sort of own up a little bit to some parts of season 1 of Picard and season 1 of Discovery that was a little bit overly complicated, because they addressed how season 3 of Discovery was pared back as well. And when asked if this would feed into Strange New Worlds, he said that this was something that they were taking ownership of and they were very aware of. Now, he was also quite quick to say that, you know, he wished Discovery all of the love, but he wasn't involved in Discovery anymore, which is like a nice little dig, really. He did mention something which I don't know if I'm massively pleased about. So there's going to be some changes that they're going to go through. One of the changes is on the ship itself. Some of the sets are going to get updated a little bit. Now this, he said, is because the Enterprise that was in Discovery's second season was part of Discovery's story. In Strange New Worlds, it's now its own central character. It is now the main ship. And it's a pretty nice ship as well, you have to say. One of the other things they said they're going to change are the uniforms. Now, I'm not exactly sure if we'll be seeing a return to this style, but they did say that they would be going and just tweaking it a little bit. Opinions left, right and centre about the look of the new/old uniforms in Discovery's second season, and it's sort of dealer's choice really when it comes to whether we like it or not. Some people have opinions on, the boxier elements, or some people really aren't fussed on the angular collars, not naming anyone in particular, but make sure to check out some of his Dolphin series. Speaking for myself here, that maybe ditching those collars, it might be a bit of a big change, but who knows? Goldsman was not very forthcoming with details on what the new uniforms would look like, just that there were changes. And that actually, funny enough, that more or less brings us up to date on the news for Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Now, in the same interview, he did just drop just a little bit of detail about Star Trek Picard. Not much that we haven't already covered in our teaser trailer breakdown video, but one thing he did tease that could be anything at this point is that where they had planned to film season 2 and 3 back to back, he was no longer able to confirm that. Not really sure what that means, so as we know, you'll know. Make sure to drop us a follow over on Twitter and like, share and subscribe to the channel. Whatever you do in the meantime, you look after yourselves, you explore those strange new worlds nicely. Sorry, that was pretty rough. Guys, you're lovely. Live long and prosper.